Hello there. I guess we're gonna talk about gang stalkers. I've seen a couple people doing lives here the last day or two. That have to do with their tactics. And also I've done a little looking into the Havana Syndrome investigations, but there isn't really anything new to do with Havana Syndrome. But I did come across a couple things, and I had a short live yesterday about it. I don't think there's anything new and groundbreaking. I'm still looking for it. There's a lot of speculation. This right here says that directed energy plausibly explains some of the cases of the mysterious Havana Syndrome illness, a new U.S. intelligence community report says. There has been a contentious debate over whether symptoms afflicting U.S. staff around the world were caused by some kind of device or were psychological in nature. The latest report from a U.S. intelligence community panel of experts says the symptoms are genuine and compelling and could in some cases have been caused by a concealed device. But the panel does not look at who might be responsible. Not that statement right there, but the panel does not look at who might be responsible. I have a problem with that because a lot of us already know who's responsible, and it's not some, it's not that confusing. But beginning in Havana, Cuba in 2016, U.S. intelligence officers and diplomats began complaining of an array of unusual symptoms. At first, the claims were largely dismissed with government. But in the last year, they have been taken more seriously, with U.S. officials encouraged to report similar symptoms. That has led to a flood of cases numbering at least 1,000 from around the world. And that's just from government officials. A January CIA study found no evidence of a widespread campaign by a foreign state, which, yeah, that's anyway, and said that many cases could be explained by natural causes or stress. However, it is acknowledged that a small number, thought to be around 24, remained unexplained. Well, obviously it's all unexplained if they haven't came up with any answers. The new study examined more than 1,000 classified documents and interviewed witnesses to focus on a group of people suffering a particular set of symptoms. Officials will not disclose the exact number. They concluded that this subset of cases cannot be explained by environmental or medical conditions and could have been caused by some kind of external source or device. We've learned a lot, said one intelligence official familiar with the work off the pen. They've learned a lot, but they're not telling anybody. The panel found 4 core characteristics or symptoms, including the sudden onset of sound or pressure in one ear or one side of the head, vertigo, loss of balance and ear pain, and a strong sense of locality or directionality with no other explanations. It examined the plausibility of 5 potential causes: acoustic signals, chemical and biological agents, ionizing radiation, natural and environmental factors, and radio frequency and other electromagnetic energy, and studied whether some kind of concealed device could create the reported symptoms. The panel found that psychological or social factors could not alone explain the symptoms, although they could have compounded some of the problems for those affected. It also found they could not be explained by environmental or medical conditions. So they're not crazy, bitches. Figure it out. Several aspects of this unique neurosensory syndrome make it unlikely to be caused by a functional neurological disorder, the panel said. That pointed towards an external stimuli or source in the view of the panel. The study found that pulsed electromagnetic energy, particularly in the radio frequency range, plausibly explains the core characteristics, although it says that there remain gaps in the information. It says that non-standard antennas could create the effects on the human body. Such a source could be concealed and require only moderate power. It could also travel through the air and through walls or buildings. A BBC report and documentary in 2021 looked at the potential role of pulse-directed energy or microwaves in causing the symptoms of Havana Syndrome. Now it says Havana Syndrome and the mystery of microwaves. There's no detail in the report of what such a device might be, nor whether the intention was to cause harm or carry out some kind of surveillance. The panel did not look at who might have been behind such activity. They should. A number of people within the U.S. government believe Russia could be responsible, and the issue has been raised in meetings, although no conclusive evidence has been discovered to back up the assertion. Yeah. I'm not dealing with Russians, are you? But who knows? The other plausible explanation for symptoms, the panel says, is some kind of ultrasound, although this travels less easily through buildings, meaning the source would not be close to the target. It would need to be close to the target. A joint statement by 2 of the most senior officials in the U.S. intelligence community vowed to continue the pursuit of the truth, while caring for those affected. We will stay at it with continued rigor for however long it takes, said U.S. Director of National Intelligence Avril D. Haines and CIA Director William J. Burns. A White House spokesman told the BBC they welcomed the findings of the report. So how significant is this new report? This is another major twist in the long-running Havana Syndrome mystery. Debate over the cause has been fierce and contentious. Last month's CIA study led many to conclude that perhaps there was less sign of any hostile activity and that the causes were medical or psychological conditions. That still may be true in the vast majority of cases, but this panel restores the possibility of some kind of malicious activity back to the agenda by saying that, at least in a specific subset of cases, pulsed energy or microwaves are a plausible cause. That will lead to the question of whether it is due to some kind of surveillance which causes harm or the use of a weapon, and if so, who might be involved. Yeah. Hi, Amber, and hi, Broken Justice. Now that was a article I just read, put out by the BBC about Havana Syndrome, which, like I've said, the symptoms are similar to what gang stalkers are attacking me with and several other targeted individuals. Okay, granted, we're not diplomats. We're not political figures. We're not normally people of, important stature in the community or countries or whatever. But the reality of it is that like us average citizens, they're attacking officials, CIA agents, FBI agents, politicians, diplomats, and just everyday random run-of-the-mill people. Now, of course, they're not making a big stink or even really recognizing that people like me or you are being affected or being surveilled or being harassed and threatened. Albeit, I've made reports to the FBI on their website, the CIA on their website, DHS on their website, Inspector General on their website, made phone calls to the FBI to, inquire about my case. So here I sit, still doing more research, but it is an energy-based weapon system. It's a directed energy-based weapon system that comes from an outside source that is directed at the target. And I find it funny that no matter the term of investigation, they're still unwilling to come off with any kind of a definitive answer, although they do really hint at ultrasonic and infrasound and microwave weapons. Now, they're basically more than once they have iterated that they don't think it's psychological in nature, like it's a mental illness. They don't feel like they really don't feel like it's chemical based or biological based, and it doesn't seem like it's a mental disorder with the targets. That's something they all agree on, but they can't agree on whether they should figure out who it is or not. It seems like they haven't even bothered trying to go after the parties that are responsible. Now, like I've done before, I can do this. I can simply do this as Joe Blow on the street, right? Sitting in my home, and doing a simple search on YouTube, right? I I can easily show you this. GangStalking jobs available. 3 urgent openings. Immediate start jobs. No experience jobs. GangStalking search in Bellflower and MapQuest. Testimonies of coordinated stalking by multiple persons. Stalking jobs. Employment. Indeed.com right there, right? This is just a one quick Google search. Now, now, these are jobs that companies are hiring people to harass and stalk people right where you live. You can do this Google search yourself on your own computer for your area, and you'll find stuff just like where mine is, where it says, in how to find a gang stalking job in your area, right? Your town will show up in there with with several companies stalker jobs right there. I'm not talking about stalking for warehouses or warehouse jobs, like stalkers, like people that go harass people, not people that stock shelves for groceries and shit. These are stalkers. There's 14 urgent openings right there. Community gang stalking. Find it here. There's a lot of things in here, like fight gang stalking, expose illegal stalking by corrupt law enforcement, right? I'll just click that just for fun. COINTELPRO, right? This is political systems serve economic systems. A capitalist economy is based on inequality and scarcity. Some portions of the society will have more than they need, and others will not have enough. Such inequality requires a security state to control those who do not have enough, so that they do not try to rise up and make demands. This was the stance of COINTELPRO from 2016 to now. When you talk to people outside the FBI, anti-Vietnam War movement, about what the FBI was doing, nobody wanted to believe it, right? COINTELPRO is alive and well. Based on Google Trends data, the term gang stalking began appearing among online searches circa 2005. Coincidentally or not, that was during the post 9/11 expansion of Americans' national security state agent activities, which included illegal domestic mass surveillance by the NSA, the use of torture at black site prisons by the CIA, the militarization of police departments, etc. In any case, an extensive review of relevant published news reports and other information suggests that the term gang stalking, and most, but not all, online references to it, is disinformation from the U.S. intelligence. Disinformation. But that's understandable that they're going to proliferate disinformation about something they don't want you to know they're doing. The intelligence community intended to obfuscate the nature of a set of real tactics, sometimes referred to in the security industry as disruption operations, as in disruption of the life of an individual targeted by public and or private security operatives. It has nothing to do with criminal gangs. That's the disinformation part. It does have to do with criminal gangs. It's all criminal gangs. It does involve stalking, though, intense long-term surveillance and harassment involving varying levels of criminality. That in itself, that is a short explanation, basically, of what gang stalkers do. They criminally stalk a person. They try to character assassinate, the person, frame them if possible, get them incarcerated if possible, institutionalized if possible, discredit them, and if none of this works, in the end, kill them. If they can't get you out of the way, they will eliminate you. That's what they do. That's what they've been doing. Think government surveillance is no big deal? Talk to these victims of police stalking. I'm not going to go through all this. I'm not going to read all this. Talks about 4 dead in Ohio. They mentioned gang stalking and they were targets. But let's keep going here. Let's see what who's a rat website toolbox says about what is the gang stalking attack plan. Gang stalking is a very mythological crime to ruin someone's social life. That's true. Lose their job. That's also true. And drive them out of town and out of their mind. That's also true. This multi-stalking attack plan carefully uses different people to continue operations without being caught. Anyone can get away with something once. Initially, a psychopath who somehow feels threatened by the victim contacts the local gang or group who sends their members in to multi-stalk the victim. See gang stalking methods such as overt brightening and anchoring in to initially sensitize the victim, car and home illegal entry. They may also poison pets or watchdogs. That's also true. To the target themselves, that's true, may also be poisoned. While this is being done, they test out the neighbors of the victims so the neighbors can continue this multi-stalking crime. Different neighbors start same time entry, exit, and brightening one by one. Some of the closest neighbors they coax and force to do many different actions that may look a little out of the norm to the casual observer, but they do not see any intent of any harm. That may be so, but in the case of myself, that is not what they've done. They've went way farther than that. Also, these neighbors may even trespass or do illegal entry to mess up a victim's home when they are out, but not enough to be seen as a crime by police. They also attack the victim workplace by messing up their work and making it look like the victim screwed up so the victim can get fired. Also, they attack the victim's co-worker belongings if they can, make it look like the victim did it. In short, that's the frame-up or the setups. While this is going on, they pick a close neighbor and force them out of their home or apartment. This can also be done by messing up their job. This is to make room for the paid gang stalker and our family to move in and continue the attack after they get all they can from the close neighbor. Well, before Ian moved in here, Rigo was here. They forced him out right next door to me. This gang stalker is like an army man, and the gang stalker leaders pay him to continue the harassment and make it more severe. It can take 3 or more years to get to this point. However, this gang stalker does not want to be caught because he has too much to lose. He has moved up in the gang stalking organization and knows a lot, but he is out of the chain of command. This soldier is on a special project and may even be expendable. By now, non-lethal EMF weapons may also be included. That's already been done. These weapons alone can drive a sane mind crazy. The above forces are now trained to attack the victim, and this vicious cycle may occur again. So if the same person attacks again in 3 years, no pattern will be recognized. New gang stalkers can also be recruited too. Killing a person's social life, their job, their marriage, ties with friends and family, and making others think the victim is crazy is social murder. This is a lot. You can read it all yourself, but Victims have also committed suicide from the gang stalking stress. This is the perfect crime, foolproof in every way unless people become aware and stop it. Yeah. A lot of those explanations are accurate for me. Now, that might just be a small overview of the consensus as to what the gang stalkers' tactics are. That looks more like not so much the tactics as it is the placement of the stalkers around the target. But yeah, there's really a lot to look at and a lot to understand. But like I said, I was just interested in showing that it's easy to see that gang stalking exists. Okay, my thing is the trolls, the perps, whatever, gang stalkers, sympathizers who enter your channel and say that gang stalking doesn't exist, that you're crazy, that these weapons don't exist, no one's watching you. Why would they watch you? That's that's another tactic. That's one of their tactics. Gang stalking happens at your job too. Apply in seconds. Jobs, gang stalking positions. I mean, I just what do you have to do to just I mean, really? Doesn't exist, right? Crime jobs. Just, I mean, really. How widespread is gang stalking? It's for something that people contend is not real. There's sure a lot of people hiring for it. So, yeah. Actually, Amber, no. My last live I did, I talked about that, about how you'll get the same response from all the different agencies when you report, even with evidence. Local law enforcement, FBI, CIA, DHS, all of them will give you the same general response. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. If we will look into it and we'll get back to you. And they never do. And the whole time they're speaking with you, you can hear, how you can hear in someone's voice that, God, not this shit. What? I'm not listening, but here, I've got to do my job and take this report, because they know what's going on. It's not like they're immune to the understanding that it's happened. They just don't. I guess they're either paid to ignore you and not do anything about it, or they just legitimately don't care that people are being harassed in their own home, in their neighborhood, across the country, and across the world. They just don't care. Or they're complicit. It's the only two things it can be. Either they're helping the people doing it, or they just don't care to help you that people are doing it. Either way, it's not a good thing. But I tend to think the latter, because like I just did a simple Google search and showed you that they're hiring for people to stalk people, to gang stalk people in plain view. All I had to do was Google search gang stalking jobs, and multiple companies pop up. Urgent gang stalkers needed. Stalk somebody in your area. $18 to $24 an hour, whatever the price, it doesn't matter. That's not important to me how much they get paid. I don't really care how much they get paid. But what I do care about is that they're killing people. And they do it in the same manner over and over. That is the definition of serial killers. If they're killing people in the same manner over and over, I don't care who's doing it, whether they think, whether whether they're law enforcement or not, they're a serial killer. But the thing is, they're not law enforcement. What they're doing isn't legal. They don't it's not recognized if they are part of some kind of a bureau. So anyway, actually no, Westmont. I don't. I'm not going to listen to a bunch of racist N-word comments or Nazi crap. I'm not here to do that. And so, not going to happen. Somebody's not going to get in here and scream the N-word, or pretend to be somebody else and scream a bunch of stupid crap. And whoever it is on this Discord that was in here last week that were coming in here screaming the N-word and talking a bunch of stupid shit is not going to happen in here today. Well, you want to talk to me? Really? Really? No, you can do like everyone else and do it in the chat. Okay, prove it. You want the link? I'll give you the link. Actually, I'm not going to do that because I'm just not going to do it. Because then all the other people like last week will just keep bombarding my channel because they got the link from someone else and they posted it in their Discord, and then all of a sudden everybody from in that Discord was in here screaming some random racist bullshit or showing penis pics. I'm not going to listen to that today. But anyway, no. But I pretty much have got out there what I wanted to talk about. I could do some more searches as far as patent information and other findings by credible sources, news broadcasts, but I feel like the the discretion of the public to just ignore it, it seems like, and mainstream media to gloss over it as though it's not really an issue. And a lot of the desire for those to try to discredit the victim and make the victim the problem is just getting old for me. Hi there. How you doing? Um, I hope you're doing good over there in the UK. Or are you at home now? Defense? Are you at home? Are you at home? Directed Defense Global now? Have you made it home? Just curious. Um, but anyway, I know I did a live like last night for about 30 minutes because I wanted to post something, and uh, I had mentioned about the code red. I don't know if you're a targeted individual and you understand what a code red is. It's where they use the directed energy weapons to induce heart attacks. Um, they've already done it to me before, but they've been threatening to do it again. And I'm like, well, do it. I mean, I'm not threatening me isn't going to bother me. You keep threatening me and threatening me and threatening me and threaten my family and my friends. But I mean, I can't do any more than I have to try and stop these people. I mean, um, if law enforcement isn't willing to, step up and do their job, what chance do we have? But uh, I'm doing okay, I guess, as okay as I can be, considering the situation we're in. Um, there's there's a lot of trolls out there that are, you know, that try to make light of the situation and to go along with the idiom, like that last article I just read to you was about how trying to make people think you're crazy, or make you look like you're nuts or whatever, or make you look like you're the bad guy, or to cause you problems in your life and ruin your relationships and so forth. Um, and it's kind of like, this is an analogy. I really like old kung fu movies, and in that it's kind of like there's you're the protagonist in the movie, and the clandestine gang leader and his minions, all single you out, and they all come after you, and they recruit people from everywhere to come and get you and to ruin your life. Um, that's just a short analogy. Uh, one such movie is called Kung Fu for Sale, which is exactly it actually insinuates gang stalking in the premise of the movie, because it has someone going around paying people to go after this one guy who's the son of a rich prominent person in the in the province, and his father doesn't want him to practice kung fu, so they every time he tries to find somebody to teach him kung fu, they go in and they, coerce the whatever person to not help him, and they harass and attack him and all that shit. But um, that's a pretty good movie. But it's not about gang stalking, but it has some of the stalking mentality in it. But there is a movie called Metropia that is about gang stalking. Now it's a cartoony movie. It's basically a digital representation of people, but uh, it is all about gang stalking and being harassed and surveilled and followed, and his life is infiltrated, um, and he's being monitored by a person behind a computer that's talking to him like they do on B2K to a target, also watching everything he's doing through his eyes and that. And just they disseminate people to enter his life and basically ruin it. And it's all being done by large conglomerates, uh, and there's something they use that has to do with shampoo, that the shampoo they're selling shampoo and using it, and that's how they get to you to be able to surveil you, which is ludicrous. It's not, there's nothing like that happening in real life, but the other parts of the movie are contingent to gang stalking. And then there's another movie that you can watch that has Matt Damon in it. It's called The Adjustment Bureau, which, uh, if you're a targeted individual, you'll see a lot of the sense and sensibility of being gang stalked, and how they try to manipulate his life and to keep him from this girl, and ruin like they don't belong together, so they change everything and control everything, and they're behind the scenes in the shadows and doing everything to ruin his chances with this person that he's in love with. But it's all about gang stalking. um, but yeah, uh, like I said, I if I could sit here and I could do some more research, and I could pop up some patents about the devices. I can go to Amazon and show you some of the devices that they're able to use. The LRAD, uh, the scalar wave focusing antenna, all that stuff that they can use to, you know, to direct energy at people, that you can buy at Amazon. You can get it and order it at Amazon. Um, the surveillance equipment that these people are using for cheap. I mean, if there is as much as the budget they're willing to spend on a target to just follow them and acquire data and try and frame them, frame us for whatever reason, the ability to get the equipment to do it is there. Um, I mean, yeah, just for shits and giggles, I'll do that. We'll just do that. Just do it. We'll just Google it. Some surveillance equipment. Uh, LiDAR and scalar wave equipment. Microwave weapons. Scalar wave products from Atlantis Scalar. Now, scalar waves, if you don't know what scalar waves are and what they're used for, they're designed to direct an energy beam in a waveform. Scalar energy, unlike every other form of energy on the electromagnetic spectrum, has the power to carry information over infinite distances without ever degrading. With the use of a scalar energy transmitter and receiver, that information can find any person or animal when given identifying information and a physical address. That information is then integrated into the energy of the life form, whether it's to destroy the DNA of all pathogens, to stop snoring or teeth grinding, to lower the weight of the physical body to an ideal level, to bring financial abundance, and much more. Scalar energy has the power to transform realities. It says for the better. But that is not the case. That's not what they're using scalar wave technology for. Now that's just about scalar waves and the ability for it to do these things right here that I just said. Identifying information, it's integrated into the energy of the life form, whether to destroy it or to help it. That's what they use it for. Directed energy weapon Wikipedia. Directed energy weapon is a ranged weapon that damages its target with highly focused energy without a solid projectile, including lasers, microwave, particle beams, and sound beams. Potential applications of this technology include weapons that target personal missiles, vehicles, and optical devices. In the United States, the Pentagon, DARPA, and Air Force Research Laboratory, United States Army Armament Research Development and Engineering Center, and the Naval Research Laboratory are researching digital energy weapons to counter ballistic missiles, hypersonic cruise missiles, and hypersonic guide vehicles. These systems of missiles defense are expected to come online no sooner than the mid-late 2020s. They've already been out. They're using them. They were using this technology in Afghanistan against the terrorists to speak as though they were God in their head. I mean, the ideology that this stuff doesn't exist, and if you want to maintain it doesn't exist, you're hiding your head under a rock, because they're using this stuff. You can go through this yourself. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. It's easy to Google search your and do your own research. Now, here's what I was talking about: the long range acoustic devices. Long range acoustic device, or LRAD, is an acoustic hailing device developed by Genesis, formerly LRAD Corporation, to send messages and warning tones over long distances or at higher volume than normal loudspeakers. And as a non-lethal directed acoustic energy weapon, LRAD systems are used for long-range communication in a variety of applications, and as a means of non-lethal, non-projectile crowd control. They are also used on ships as an anti-piracy measure. According to the manufacturer's specifications, the systems weigh from 15 to 320 pounds and can emit sound in a 30 to 60 degree beam at 2.5 kilohertz. They range in size from small portable handheld units, which can be strapped to a person's chest, to larger models which require a mount. The power of the sound beam, which LRAD produce, is sufficient to penetrate vehicles and buildings while retaining a high degree of fidelity, so that verbal messages can be conveyed clearly in some situations. Their weapons capability has been controversially used in the USA to disrupt numerous protests. Now, just that passage right there intonates what they can do with it. They can focus a target. Now, I haven't even mentioned audio spotlight. audio spotlight, which is veritably identical to what V2K does. It sends out a cone of sound that only the targeted person in the target area, in the cone of sound area, can hear, right? Only that person can. He can be in a crowd of 10,000 people and only they will hear it. Only you're going to hear it. But let's just go with that, okay? I you can go ahead and look through these different ones. Like I said, there's plasma, fire a beam at you, the lasers. They can do all this stuff. The EMF, ELF. There's so many different cheap weapons that they're selling, and you can acquire them on fucking Amazon. Okay, so telling people that this doesn't exist, you're making an ass out of yourself, because these weapons are everywhere. They're prolific. Non-lethal weapons capabilities, right? The TCOM technology synopsis in 1997 concluded on non-lethal weapons. Determining the target effects on personnel is the greatest challenge to the testing community, primarily because the potential of injury and death severely limits human tests. Also, directed energy weapons that target the central nervous system and cause neurophysiological disorders may violate the Certain Conventional Weapons Convention of 1980. So they know it's wrong just from this passage right here. They know what they're doing is wrong from the Geneva Convention. So, of the 80s, weapons that go beyond non-lethal intentions and cause superfluous injury of some common bioeffects on non-lethal electromagnetic weapons include difficulty breathing, disorientation, nausea, pain, vertigo. Now, if you've looked at Havana Syndrome, right? They've got it right under Havana Syndrome right here. That's what the fuck they were doing to them. Okay, that's what they were doing to them. It's not. It, I'm not with the FBI. I'm not with the CIA. I'm not with the NSA. But I can Google search this and shit in 10 minutes and tell you more than those fuckers did in a year of investigation. Give me a break. Interference with breathing poses the most significant potential lethal results. Light or repetitive visual signals can induce epileptic seizures, vection, and motion to sickness. Can also occur. Russia has reportedly been using blinding laser weapons during its 2022 invasion of Ukraine. They have electronic warfare, electromagnetic pulse, Ivan's hammer, Lahara's technology, laser applications, Medusa. I don't know if you've heard about what Medusa does. Medusa is a directed energy non-lethal weapon designed by Waveband Corporation in 2003 for temporary personnel incapacitation. The weapon is based on the microwave auditory effect, resulting in a strong sound sensation in the human head when it's subject to certain kinds of, it goes on, but I'm not going to go with. But anyway, this is just a Wikipedia. I mean, but we'll look at something else here that is of interest. Okay, this will be of interest. If you're wondering, if you're wondering about V2K and what the effects of it are and how it looks, here you go. Audio spotlight. Right here. Now this holosonic in ceiling and wall speakers, right? These are just the speakers that they can point in a direction of, or a spot, right? These speakers right here that only the person in the targeted area will hear, right? They can turn it up as loud as they want, and only the person in the target zone or the cone of the speaker where it's facing will hear this shit. Look how cheap. right? Look how cheap. They're cheap considering, I mean, $999, right? There's cheaper ones, I'm sure, but it, this is just what's called Audio Spotlight and where you can buy it. Now there's ultrasound directional speakers. You see this right here? Focused audio technology right here, like the dude standing here, and it's focused only on him. Like I said, in the cone of effect, right? Only that dude is going to be affected by it, right? Only the person sitting here, right, is going to hear it. They don't hear shit. She don't hear nothing. She don't hear shit. He's watching a movie. She don't hear shit. Audio Spotlight's X series speakers create a tight, narrow beam of sound that can be controlled with the same precision as light, now with 2 times more output. A wider range of lower frequencies and clearer sound. Flexible and self-powered Audio Spotlight X series speakers are a powerful tool, ensuring isolated audio that captivates listeners with an immersive personal experience while keeping the surrounding area quiet. What the fuck you think? Huh? Now, these technologies are out there, and these gangstalker scumbags are using them. Okay, yeah, granted, anybody can buy this shit, but um, it's what you're using it for, right? It's what you're using it for that makes it a crime, that makes it a group of serial killers, right? That they're using these technologies to harass and ruin people's lives, and it's collaborated with cyber stalking. It's collaborated with Frankenstein fraud, where they get the information. Now, I haven't even went into this. This is just the auditory problem, the auditory issues with like V2K and the directed energy weapons aspects of gang stalking, right? Or the tools they use to kill people with. Now, this isn't even including remote neural monitoring, where they totally immersively, invasively enter the target's life, right? By using brain computer interfaces to actually read people's thoughts, and manipulate their thoughts. And what they'll do with that is, as they can see what you're seeing and hear what you're hearing, they'll present these in chats to people, and between the time they're taking whatever information from you, the target, and disseminating it to other people, they have manipulated it, and they've created scenarios and lies about you, and they're spreading them among their group and destroying your credibility. That's what all this is about. It's all about ruining the target with these weapons and mass surveillance and harassment and threats and psychological warfare. So, uh, I know a lot of people contend that gang stalking isn't real, but quit sitting on your dick. I mean, because you can fucking, like I said, you can just Google it. You can Google gang stalking jobs and know it's real, because they're hiring motherfuckers. They're hiring motherfuckers to do this shit right now. Urgent, urgent jobs, right? Urgent people needed to stalk individuals. Now, you didn't have to do anything wrong. You didn't do anything. I, I didn't do anything wrong. The only thing I did was I caught them stealing my ideas and my work. at my identity. I caught them doing it, so I became a target. And once you're a target, they want you dead. And the reason they want you dead is because you know something, or you found something out about them, or you said something wrong that somebody didn't like, and now you're on this list of people to be terminated. Simple as that. You don't have to be important. You don't have to be somebody special. You don't have to be a movie star, a politician, a diplomat. But the reality is they're doing it to them too. So what are you going to do when, you know, the people that supposed to trust to protect you from terrorists, domestic terrorists, assaults, threats, harassment, are ignoring it? Or in worst case scenario, are part of the ones doing it? What the fuck do you do, right? I mean, when everybody you tell, even though you might have evidence, you're crazy. It's victim blaming, also the victim blaming and shaming. So, like I said, I was going to show you one last thing here, and it'll go along with audio spotlight. Okay. Okay. Here, you just watch this. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't sharing this. Damn it. I'm sorry. Hold on. I thought I was sharing that. Oops. Okay, so here's audio spotlight. This is audio spotlight.
Okay, everybody knows what this is.
Acoustic laser.
A laser, right? Nice beam of light in many applications. Have you ever, what about sound? Can we create a laser-like or a beam of sound? Well, it's very hard to do. And the reason it's hard to do is that typical sound wavelengths are like this big. And long wavelengths bend. They bend around objects. If you have two people on either side of a barrier here, an opaque barrier, they can't see each other, but they can hear each other, right? How can that happen? Well, the sound diffracts. And it diffracts because the wavelength's long. When the wavelength's small, if the wavelength was very small, the sound would just go out here, and this person wouldn't hear. So this makes it really hard to create a beam. But people have been extremely clever about this, and there is a way. It's complicated. We teach it in an advanced course here, and it takes 2 lectures. Is that right, Andres? Well, he left. He's supposed to do that? Yeah, so I'm going to try to give you just the basic, make this really simple. This is called an audio spotlight, and it's only $2,000. And you know who paid for it? Your parents, right? Okay. So what it does is it has some transducers here, some discs that generate sound, and it puts out 65,000 hertz, 65 kilohertz. How high can we hear? Around 20,000. Well, you might be able to. Not you get older. Not down around.
I don't think even them can.
What?
I don't think.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
By now they are probably 18 or 17,000.
Yeah. But you should have a hearing test. It's important. It's important. So anyway, 65 kilohertz, way beyond ours. Dogs can't hear it. It turns out cats can. Okay, bats, no problem. They're typically, they go up to 100,000 hertz. All right. So we can't hear this. It's going. I haven't turned it on yet. When I do, it's going to blast out a 65 kilohertz beam. Because the wavelength is so small, it doesn't spread. Because 65 kilohertz has a wavelength like that. So it's going to be, in that sense, similar to a laser. It just comes right out as a beam. Now, how do we make that audible? Well, they put a modulation on top of the 65 kilohertz. There's a modulation. And now, here's the next thing I have to tell you. That 65 kilohertz is very high amplitude. It won't hurt you, we don't think. Okay? You certainly can't hear it, and we don't think it'll hurt you. And it's very high amplitude. And what happens when you have 2 sound waves like this, sound plus sound can create sound, but only at high amplitudes. At low amplitudes, sound waves just travel right through each other. You may be sort of familiar with this. But at high amplitudes, you can create sound. So what happens in this apparatus is the audio sound, the sound that you're going to hear, is actually created in the beam, not here. And because it's created in the beam and it stays in the beam, we have a beam of sound. So let me demonstrate this for you. Let me turn it on. And I'm going to find the piece of music that we like.
Yeah.
You may not like it.
The Eagles. Yes. You like the Eagles? Yes. Okay, good. Oh, we have a friendly audience this year.
Yeah. I think they're just saying that to make us feel better.
Right.
All right. What? It's worth the $2,000. It's not our money. Now, the sound that you're hearing is being created in this beam. It almost sounds like it's coming from your head. So let me try to scan the whole audience here so everybody gets to hear this. Absolutely remarkable. Pete, are you getting it? Let's try to, wait, one more thing. Let's try to bounce it off the wall. Raise your hand if you can very clearly hear it. I'm going to try to bounce it off the wall. Look at where the hands are raised. Put your hands down. No, it's bouncing off the wall. This is a beam of sound. Remarkable.
Now that's Audio Spotlight. Hello, Indian Gang Stalking. How are you doing? Well, and since you just showed up, I have been showing you the technologies that are readily available on Amazon and other places, right? That are cheap and readily available equipments, scalar wave technology, microwave technology, LiDAR technology, audio spotlight technology, which they use to harass you with the V2K sound, with the beaming of microwave energy to burn you, to harm you, to cause, health effects on us targets. Now this is just a focal point. Audio spotlight's real. LiDAR is real. Acoustic weapons are real. Microwave weapons are real. Scalar wave technology weapons are real. They've been using this shit for years and years and years and years and years and years. So don't come in here and try and say, Nerve Gorilla, that this shit doesn't exist. All right, I don't want to hear that ever out of your mouth again. Okay, don't ever say it, because you're not going to convince me, and you sure as fuck aren't convincing anybody else. But anyway, now I haven't spent any time showing you anything about the brain-computer interface technology, really. Now we all know about Elon Musk making Neuralink and that, but there's no need for that. There's no need for an implant. Using microwave technology, they can remotely single out your EMF or your brain fingerprint and manipulate your thought process and watch your thought process. I don't have to quote Edward Snowden again, talking about the NSA doing this in 2013 when he was a subcontractor there. I'm not going to quote that crap. I'm not going to look at that. Don't need to. I've already showed people that. But I just feel like I had to reiterate that these technologies exist. I mean, we aren't just pulling the reality of these weapons out of our ass and saying, that this stuff is science fiction. It isn't science fiction. They're readily available. GangStalkers or jobs are readily available right on Google right now. That's why I'm talking about this. It's like, you get these fools that come in and try and disinform that gang stalking isn't real, that V2K isn't real, that remote neural monitoring isn't real, and that nobody's looking at you and nobody's following you and nobody's harassing you. Bullshit. Bullshit. So yeah, I hope I've made my point just in a short hour and 14-minute live. I know this person Westmont says he wanted to come in and chat, but I don't want to. I'm absolutely certain he just wants to come in and scream the N-word like most of these other people. I don't care what he says right in the chat, because they just want to. They try to lull you into, oh yeah, no, I'm here to talk about gang stalking. I'm here to talk, blah blah blah, and they'll start out with I think people are following me, and then all of a sudden I shot a black dude in the face. I'm like, that dude was like 12 years old. That kid was 12 years old saying that shit. Like, get the hell out of here. What's wrong with you people? But anyway, That's the mentality of perpetrator gang stalkers. That's their mentality. They think this shit is funny. They think it's funny that they're in large groups harassing people to death, killing people. Mass groups of fucking serial killers. And they think it's funny. But anyway, I think I've made my point here. Yeah, I agree with you. Indian gang stalking. Rest in peace, Coolio. Yeah, that's sad. He was what, 54, something like 56, whatever. But yeah, I've kind of exhausted my my desire to drive my point home that gang stalking is real. The weapons that they use are real, readily available. Google advertises for people to gang stalk people, so this shit is as real as the apple pie your mom's gonna make you for dinner. Okay. It's as real as the oxygen you're breathing. You can't see it, but it's there, and you know it's there. So, I haven't had any of my usual people come in that wanted to chat, that actually want to talk and, not do some crazy childish stuff on, and disrupt my live. So I haven't posted the link, but I don't know what else to say other than that. You can simply do your own research if you're really adamant that this stuff doesn't exist. I mean, you can look at this 1 hour and 17-minute video I've done, and I've proved it exists. I don't care what anybody else says. The proof is right here in this 1 hour video. So, have a good night, and thank you for coming out.